We've got it handled. Look, star, deputy, me, no star.
Oh, hey, Buzz, what is that?
What? Where?
Ow.
Hey,
I'm gonna let this device know how things are run around here.
try to stay calm, Jessie.
I'm the definition of calm.
That's not gonna work.
I want to talk to you, device.
Not touching, Jessica.
Oh, no.
She used the J word.
Scandal.
Hi! Oh, come on!
She's getting away, Buzz.
Enjoy the garage, Stuffalo
How's it
Bill.
going, guys? Welcome back to my channel and time for another episode of Luke's Reviews. On today's video, my childhood returns to the cinema screen for a fifth outing, but how many good fifth entries into a franchise are there? I'm not going to count Empire Strikes Back, that was technically the second. So you've got Order of the Phoenix, Fast 5, definitely not Rocky 5, but let's see which group this one will join, because it's my review of Toy Story 5. Well, we thought we'd be due to the toys again in Toy Story 4, but we are back for a brand new adventure, and this time round, Buzz, Jessie, and a returning Woody are up against their toughest challenge yet: technology. Bonnie has recently got a lily pad, which has absorbed almost all of her free time, leaving her toys unplayed with. But Jessie is determined not to let the device win, and hatches a plan for Bonnie to disconnect and remember how to play. The discussion about Toy Story sequels is never ending. They did the first back in 1995, and it was a classic. So when Toy Story 2 was announced, audiences were concerned that Pixar should have left it be. And what do you know? Toy Story 2 captured the magic and, for me, became the best of the bunch. Then, in 2010, we were all concerned that Toy Story 3 would let us down. And it was fantastic, and also entered many of us into therapy for emotional trauma. And then Toy Story 4 came along, seemingly a pointless addition, given that Andy's story had ended, but served as a fitting epilogue. But of course, the loudest thing in Hollywood is money, and that Toy Story train showed no signs of slowing. Fortunately, though, I am very, very happy to be able to tell you guys that Toy Story 5 is excellent. They found the magic again. This film is brilliant. I honestly had a wonderful time watching such an earnest, delightful, and creative entry into this franchise. It went down avenues that I personally did not expect it to go, and it was all the better for doing so. The theme of technology and tech obsession in kids was always going to be a big hill for the Toy Story franchise to climb, because Pixar are better than doing the whole old man waving a stick at clouds, being like, "You dumb kids, you don't understand, back in my day." And plus, I think it's a bit of an antiquated depiction of technology, because technology is resourceful, it is useful, there are benefits to it. It's more about the controls and the regulations behind it, especially towards children, that I didn't know if Pixar would necessarily have the balls to do. Fortunately, though, the writers over at Pixar are significantly smarter than I am, because they present technology in such a different way than I had expected the film to do so. Obviously, you do have an antagonist in the shape of Lilypad, but her intentions are always to benefit Bonnie. She wants Bonnie to do well in life. It's the same for Jessie, Buzz, and the gang. They are there to ensure that Bonnie's okay. It's just that their methods massively contradict each other. But particularly where I thought the presentation worked tremendously well was in this smaller group of discarded tech toys led by Conan O'Brien, brilliantly voicing a toy called Mr. Smarty Pants, who is a potty training device. But what Toy Story 5 does so refreshingly well is to allow the human owner to actually have their own arc, to have their own progression in a story. Now, we all love Andy, but Andy was just there in the films. He didn't really have much of a part to play. He gets a little bit to do in Toy Story 3, but otherwise, he was the owner, and that was that. Here, Bonnie is upgraded from basic owner to a genuine character who goes through her own arc. She must face the difficulty of finding friends and navigating the less appealing side of tech based play. It is fantastic work by Andrew Stanton and his entire creative team because it just allows you to get a greater understanding of more of these characters and especially why the toys want to help Bonnie. And speaking of the toys, of course, it is a joy to be back with the gang. The camaraderie between all of them is still very much there. Now, I do just want to highlight something. Woody is in the film. Woody is there. Tom Hanks voices him, and it's delightful. It's lovely. It's charming. It just makes you feel all warm and fluffy inside. Woody is not a main character in this film, though. And I think that was a good call. Because Woody's story ended in Toy Story 4. He found his resolution. He found his conclusion. He's there in the film. He's there to help. He's there to support. But this is not his adventure. Instead, the filmmakers make a very bold decision to shift leads, not even to Buzz Lightyear, but to Jessie, the sheriff now. She's no longer just a cowgirl, she is the sheriff. She's in charge of looking after Bonnie, and with Lilypad now taking Bonnie away, Jessie's past fears of abandonment and her experiences with her previous owner, Emily, are explored once again. One aspect I also really liked is that Randy Newman, who, of course, gives such a brilliant score, peppers in Sarah McLachlan's song When Somebody Loved Me, which is in Toy Story 2, and uses that as a theme for Jessie. It works very, very well. Joan Cusack does a great job of Jessie. She really allows her to flourish and let her stand and soak in the spotlight. But alongside her, as her recommended deputy, is Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear. And it is always a delight with Tim Allen in this role. I love Buzz. It was my favorite when I watched the movies when I was a child, and I still have such an affinity for the character. I think he's just class. And he gets a really funny task, shall we say, something he's wanting to prove to Jessie that just put a smile on my face. But I want to add something. Tim Allen doesn't just voice one Buzz Lightyear in this film. No. There is a separate thread that kind of runs in tandem with the main story of the film about a container of Buzz Lightyears that find themselves shipwrecked, find themselves on a deserted island, and it's the journey that they go on. I kid you not, it is the funniest thing in the film. I could not stop laughing anytime the story cut to them. Now, is there any point for them in the film? Absolutely not. They serve such little a purpose to the story of Bonnie and Jessie and the technology side of things. But that doesn't stop it from being absolutely hilarious and so freaking entertaining. And it should obviously go without saying that the animation is first-rate quality. The design of the toys, both new and old, are great, but what particularly stood out for me was that we get a bit of an insight into when Bonnie is having playtime, is playing with the toys, and we get transported to this world that uses different styles of animation, different textures, 2D, 3D. It looks fantastic. I really, really was a big fan of what they brought to the table here to just make those sequences feel even more playful. I will say, though, make sure to stick around during the credits, not just because Taylor Swift's got a new song, and I'm sure all you Swifties are thrilled about that. It's a good song. I like it. But there are 2 post-credit scenes, or 1 mid-credit scene and 1 post-credit scene. Quite some fun surprises, especially that middle one. Hardest I laughed in the film. I thought it was hilarious. I'm sat here so incredibly happy to tell you guys that Pixar have not yet dropped the ball with the Toy Story series, and with Toy Story 5, they've continued to excel. It has everything you want in these sorts of films. Outstanding animation that can transform ordinary, mundane things into extraordinary characters, phenomenal voice work, humor that can have kids and adults laughing, and timely themes that kids can learn from, and adults will find touching. I laughed tremendously, and I cried. But above all that, I sat there beaming at Pixar finding the magic yet again. Just as there are a legacy to the toys you have as a child, the legacy of these films seems never-ending too. So I'm going to give Toy Story 5 a 9.5 out of 10. Anyway, guys, those were my thoughts on Toy Story 5. Let me know, have you had the chance to see the film yet? What did you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And my question to you, who is your favorite Toy Story character? But that's all the time we have for today. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Hello, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure to click that like button, and if you aren't already, click that subscribe button too.